So Ethan, tell us a little bit about your transformation, man. You just said you were over 500 pounds.
550.
Woo.
Yeah.
Now look at you with the freaking chest, bro.
I got sober in 2001, and then about a year later, I just was like, I don't want to be this heavy anymore, you know? And so I started dieting.
So you were at 550 in 2001?
Yes, I was at 550 for sure.
That was your peak?
In 2001. That was my peak. Yeah.
Tremendous, dude.
Yeah. And then about a year later, I was flying to do a movie in Romania, and I was just miserable, man. You know, like I was so uncomfortable all the time, and to get to Romania, you had to fly to Frankfurt, and then there was always a long stopover, and it's a massive airport, and I would dread how much I'd have to walk to get to the gate in Frankfurt, and I was just sick of it, and I went on a diet, and I've dieted basically for 20 years. You know, It was a long time, and I gained weight and lost weight and gained weight and lost weight. I got down below 500 pounds, and I never went back above that. But in there, I went from 450 to 200, back up to 400. You know, it was a lot of fluctuation.
You fluctuated a lot there.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what are some of your to share with the people? Some of like your tenets, like your healthy eating, like principles that you stick by that keeps you on track.
The thing that changed radically for me, and I've now maintained my weight since like 2017. So the biggest change was that I kept thinking about diets as the diet is the solution, weight loss is the solution, and really that's just like a single tool in a much larger scheme to change my life. And changing my life and considering that this is something that I'll be dealing with forever has made it so much easier, because I'm not expecting this to end. Does that make sense? Like I had to find a way to reformat my life so that I was happy living this way forever. Okay. So nothing's too extreme. You know, I tried, like I had this idea for a long time, like if I just don't eat carbs, I'll lose all the weight. Not true.
Right.
And then when you eat carbs, you gain so much weight. A lot of it's water. And my relationship with food had to radically change. I couldn't eat for comfort. I couldn't eat for celebration or when I was down. I stopped compulsively eating and binge eating and eating, you know, in the middle of the night for no reason. Like I stopped eating in secret. Like there were a lot of those things that I think were far more beneficial to me long-term than going on a diet.
And I think that it can't be overstated, the sobriety aspect of that too, because no matter how productive you are, when you get a couple beers in you, you know, then it's like, oh, I'll have the burger.
Yeah,
you know,
sure.
So that's your inhibitions.
Come out.
Yeah, that is your inhibitions, you know. And I, you know, what resonates with me, what you said, because I've struggled with it as well, very, very deeply, is the not.
You were up to almost 4 bills, right?
Knocking right on the door.
Yeah.
Knocking right on the door, yeah. After being a pro athlete at 225. And again, you know, when you do lose the weight, you know, if you're not losing it fast enough, or if you are dieting and restricting yourself and you are working out and you're not seeing the results in the mirror, there can be a moment where you're just like, man, fuck this.
Yeah.
Fuck this. You know, I am unhappy. At least, you know, I don't like what I'm eating. I'm angry. I'm restricting myself. Everybody else is eating. Why the f aren't they gaining weight? I'm eating what they're eating. I'm eating less. And you get really angry. And then you're just like, well, screw it, man. Maybe
I'm not going to do this anymore.
What the hell? You know what? I'll just be I'll be a jolly fat guy.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll develop a sense of humor. People will like me anyway.
Bro, by the way, not seeing success fast enough, getting frustrated, being miserable, doing that was not sustainable.
Sure.
A quick route to relapse.
Big time.
And then having success, losing all the weight, and thinking that I was solved.
Well, that's
the
thing.
Weight. That's the other side where you're fucked
brilliant.
too.
That's so brilliant. That like changing your mentality of thinking that this has an end.
There's no end for me.
This is just what I do now.
What I do now. That is such an interesting thing, man. Because there is that marker where it's like, okay, I just have to be good for 90 days. You know, and I'm going to do this 90-day challenge.
Yeah. I even had it where I would go like, because I did keto for a while, for a couple years, and I lost weight on keto. But the thing is the whole selling point is like you don't have to actually track what you eat. As long as you eat primarily fats and proteins, and your carbs are limited to like under 50 grams a day. I even went down to under 25 grams a day and was eating vegetables, like 3 sprigs of broccoli as though it was a vitamin supplement. There comes a point where you're not losing weight anymore because you're overeating steaks.
Well, yeah.
You can overeat steak. You know what I mean?
I have a great friend, Ronnie Lubisher. Lubisher's Burn and Blast out in Jersey, who's been a trainer and a nutritionist for the Stars. He's an amazing guy, and he hates the keto stuff. He's like, listen, you go keto, you're going to lose weight. You go no carb, you're going to lose weight because probably right now, over 70% of your calories are carbohydrate or sugar. So by cutting them out, you're going to be cutting out 70% of your calories immediately. And then your body's going to be in this calorie restriction, and you're going to lose weight. And then eventually you're going to get used to eating like that, and you're going to get hungry.
Right.
And now you're going to start eating a lot of steak and a lot of avocado. And the next thing you know, you're back up to 5,000 calories a day, which is the problem.
Right.
You're not burning off.
But it's all fat. Now all your calories are fat. The other thing is, for every gram of carbohydrates you eat, your body stores 3 to 4 grams of water because that's how they get the glycogen into your muscle.
Interesting.
So you could quit eating carbohydrates and jump to 5,000 calories a day in mostly fat and actually gain fat and lose weight on the scale because you're purging your system of water.
Interesting.
So
It's not ideal.
Look, if somebody is more successful at restricting what they eat through eating low carb, then fine. But if you have to lose 300 pounds, which is what I had to lose, and you're sold on this thing that says like you never have to be responsible for the amount that you eat, you just have to get rid of this one macronutrient, there will come a point, if you're anything like me, where you're overeating fat. And overeating fat will make you fat. So it's just this kind of like, I think the way keto is sold is misleading to a lot of people.
Is that why you see so often somebody will lose a ton of weight and then have a cardiac activity? There's people I know that have gone, they've done the bypass surgery or they've done this extreme dieting, they've lost a ton of weight, and then they have a heart attack. And I'm not a doctor. I don't want to speculate, but you're not just losing water. You're losing all these minerals and everything as well. You're depleting your body. It has to be, if you're adding all that fat, it has to be stressful. I don't know.
There's so many studies that are basically contradictory to each other about what's healthier long-term. The bottom line is, I wanted to lose weight. I wanted to lose fat, specifically fat. And I wanted to get down to a weight that I was really happy with, and I could never do it with keto because I was eating too much. So when I would stop losing weight on keto, I'd then start restricting my food on keto. So I'm now eating just smaller portions and smaller. So I was basically doing keto and calorie counting to continue losing weight. And it came to a point where I was like, what the fuck am I doing? The whole reason I'm doing keto is because I don't have to worry about how much I eat. That's a lie at a certain point. Maybe immediately in the beginning at 500 pounds, if you quit eating carbohydrates, you'll lose weight. But I would challenge anybody that they're going to get all the way to their desired weight and not have to be responsible for the amounts that they're eating at some point.
When I was gaining weight, I swear to God, dude, it was like a blur. I woke up one day and there was a picture someone posted of me and her online, and I was like, who the fuck is that? That's me? And then after that, like, I looked at the scale, and then I didn't look at the scale for like another year and a half. I just, I'd work out, I wouldn't work out, I'd be on the road, I'd be drinking like a fish, and it happened so fast. And the question I got all the time was, how'd you let it get there? How'd you let it get that bad? Especially from guys that like ex-teammates and stuff. Now, meanwhile, on the way there, nobody ever said anything. Nobody ever said, like, hey, what's going on here? Like, and I guess they'd think it was mean, or, maybe it would be mean or whatever. But
it's touchy.
It is
touchy.
It's one.
Say to people. You don't want to insult, but like, a good friend.
Yeah.
So like has to say something, even though it can be like difficult.
Listen,
right?
my closest friends had multiple interventions with
you, yeah,
about drugs. About drugs.
Okay.
And only one of them sat me down once or twice and was like, I'm really concerned. I have this nutritionist. I'd love you to go see him. I'm paying for everything. Everything's taken care of.
That's a good friend.
How'd you react to it?
I went and did it. And I lost, I think that time I lost like 40 or 50 pounds. But I was doing it for my friend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even when I would get sober after these interventions, I was doing it for them and I'd have relapses. So I think it's tough to sell people on stuff. I think the success I've seen is when somebody has a decision for themselves and goes, I'm done doing this. And then goes to people and goes, help me. Can you help me?
It's kind of like that same thing with drug addiction, where you get hit rock bottom. Like you can want someone to stop, like, doing drugs and stuff, but they need to want to stop.
Yeah.
But this one a little tougher because you have to eat. You can't not.
Right.
You can't, like, if it's a food addiction, you
complicated.
can't quit food like you could quit, other shit.
Yeah.
So it's hard.
Plus, there's a social aspect to it, where not eating when everybody else is eating, like at a big dinner, a family dinner or something like that. It's akin to not drinking when everybody else is drinking. You don't want to be seen as a buzzkill. You don't want, but you also, like, you're very insecure about it. A lot of times, you drink when you're. I don't want to speak for you. I drank.
Ethan, can I get a couple of them things off you, man?
I would drink a lot, especially after I became, like, self-aware of how much weight I was gaining. To go out to a bar to talk to girls or something like that, I'd have to get hammered to get over my own insecurities, which then just exacerbated the problem. You know what I'm saying? I'd have to turn, my inhibitions completely off. And then, then the night needs to keep going, so you need to do other things to maintain. Because the body wants to shut down.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to shut down yet. There's a whole nother bottle of whiskey that needs drinking,
Yeah.
So what are some, if you could be a little specific? I know you, like, and I don't like the word diet.
Sure.
Like, even if I say diet, I mean, like, what do you like to eat? Like, I don't like the way, like, people like you're on a diet. Like, no, this is just my diet. This is just the way I eat, What is your diet consist of? And I also want to know, when you were, like, at your worst, what your diet was like then too.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
He has a morbid curiosity with all things fat.
It just sounds awesome.
I'm not like a black and white anti.
I don't want to be triggering now.
No. Listen,
he's very problematic.
There are two definitions to diet, and both have uses.
Yeah.
One is how you eat. What do you eat?
Yes.
That's your diet. The other is a restrictive version of what you eat in order to achieve some goal, most typically weight loss. But I know what you're saying. Like, people don't like the word calorie. It's upsetting to people. Metabolism can be upsetting to people. These are just words that express an idea. So it's a way to communicate. None of these words upset me. But I try, and I'm not anti-processed foods guy, but I find that if I eat mostly foods with one-word ingredients,
Give me something right there. 100%.
broccoli,
Love that.
chicken, the majority of my diet is made up of stuff with one word.
Yes.
And then I will occasionally have a piece of bread, but I find that if I put fat on the bread, if I put mayonnaise on the sandwich, suddenly I could eat 2 sandwiches much easier. If I butter my bread, I could eat a fucking loaf of bread.
If you make it taste good, you're going to want more of it. Yeah.
You purposefully keep it a little bland.
Listen, I like spices, I like all that stuff, but I want to get the majority of my fats through the protein that I eat,
Right.
and then ancillary fats. Like, so on top of that is going to be omega-3s. Avocados are a great source of fat because it also has a ton of fiber.
Avocado oil mayo at all? I love that.
I have had it. Like, Primal makes a good avocado oil mayo. I have had that. Mayo for me is such a tricky thing that, like, it just makes it turns it into something that I feel not great about eating.
So
Okay.
good.
But
See,
it's
I'm very much so where I have to, like, almost like be able to justify anything I eat. Like, this is my protein. Yeah, I'm eating rice. That's gonna be good carbs. It's gonna fuel my workouts. It's gonna replenish my glycogen. Vegetables. That's that's the good nutrients. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
That's like super important for me. I've seen you whip up some stuff. Your trifecta.
Yeah.
Trifecta.
Yeah, you whip it up, bro.
Yeah.
I see you like your spices.
I want it, but
you're a good cook.
I want listen, I don't, by the way, I make those videos because I want people to think like you don't have to eat super boring, but mostly I eat super boring. The majority of the time, the only thing I'm adding.
You lie,
is salt.
sir.
Bro,
I mean,
those bison burgers
fucking
you made.
good.
Whew.
Good.
Ugh.
You know, I always think of it like whenever you see those erectile dysfunction commercials, and it's like this smoke show, like 50-year-old chick and the guy are holding hands. That guy doesn't need it. That guy doesn't need Viagra. That chick's smoking.
Yeah.
Like that. It was the same thing with food. Like if I'm eating chicken parm, I'll eat as much of that as you put in front of me. But you put,
Size of a surfboard.
I will eat chicken parm the size of this table, tie my hands behind my back, and I will eat my way out of the room, bro. But that should be a 100,000 follower challenge right there. It's like when you put the dog food in front of the dog and just keep eating till he dies. Yeah, chicken. If this table was chicken parm, I'd eat my way through it.
Yeah, dude.
But if it's tuna fish, I'll not eat for 3 days.
I could eat tuna if you put enough mayonnaise in it. I could eat tuna for I could eat a quart of tuna.
Yeah,
jam too,
that's been the thing. Is like as I've tried to get myself into a healthier lifestyle, finding foods that I don't hate.
How much weight you lost since knowing me?
100 pounds probably. And I was already probably down 30, 40, 50 pounds.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I make tuna now with
Well, now I got to fight people because
lemon.
People get angry
like
all the time.
I'll take a 20-ounce can of tuna, squeeze out the water, throw some lemon on there, and then measure out a tablespoon of olive oil just so that it's not like fucking sandpaper, you know?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good discipline right there.
Yeah.